Hey everyone, it's Marie here from Nicole Designs, and I'm going to be using some pops of color to create a few really fun cards today. Now, here are the pops of color. They're little bottles of color and bottles of sunshiny happiness. And if you want to get started with them, you do have to take a little stopper out that's in the nozzle here. So you're just going to screw the top off, screw off that little applicator tip, and then I like to take a tweezer and pop out that little red stopper. Throw it away, you don't need it, and then you can put the top back onto your bottle of pops of color and you're ready to go. So I just wanted to show you how to get started with these pops of color, and we'll get into the card today. I'm using some new colors from scrapbook.com. I really love these sort of neutral kind of colors here. I'm just going to be adding these to my card base with a media spatula. Now, I really love kind of the abstract look that I've gotten from these pops of color, and I was going with another version of it on today's card. So I'm just applying these straight to my cardstock from my spatula. Now, once you've got it applied, go ahead and wipe it off with a baby wipe. I like to clean them up right away. It's easier to clean them before they dry. So I use baby wipe, clean up my surface and my tools, and then I can change colors. Now, one thing I do want to note here is it's best if you're applying colors together or maybe overlapping them a little bit. It's best to let the pops of color dry in between your applications. So that blue streak that I put on there first, I let it set, I let it dry, and I came back with my next color. And I'm just smearing this color on. I'm putting a few little dabs and dots here and there. I'm trying to get it to look the way I want, and I'm going to let that layer dry also. And then I'm going to come back with my last color here. I've got these three colors together, and I'm going to smear this color on again, coming in from the other side. And it's just really fun to play around with these pops of color. They're very creamy, they're easy to spread, they're easy to stencil if you like to do that as well. So there's just so many different fun things that you can do with these pops of color. And scrapbook.com has so many different colors available. They have bright vacation type colors. They've got these more muted colors that I'm using today. They have glittery ones. They have ones that dry glossy. So all kinds of different variations. Now I went ahead and I set that card aside to let it dry, and I'm going to be working on another one. You may also see off to the side there, I've got a little mountain painting. I don't know. I tried a little bit of painting with my palette knives and it didn't turn out great, but it was fun to experiment. So I'm going to take some of those colors and I'm going to do another background here. Just very kind of abstract. I'm just really enjoying adding some color onto my cardstock and giving it a little bit of texture and different things with my palette knives. I think it would be really interesting to see how you could paint with palette knives with these pops of color. I am not an artist, as you can see from my little mountains, but I think they could really become a very fun medium to work with palette knives or anything if you knew how to do that technique. So I'd be really interested to see how a painting or a piece of artwork turned out with these pops of color, applying it with your palette knives. But for my cards, I'm just kind of adding it with a knife, smearing it around, going for colors and textures that look good, and just having fun with it. So again, I'm using some of that sage color. I think this blue one is called marine or ocean or something. They go together really well. I'm just smearing them on with my palette knife and kind of scraping them out, smearing them around, getting sort of the feel that I want from my card background. And these two colors, the greenish and the blue, I didn't let them dry. I let them smear together because they went together really well. But then I did let them dry before I put this little khaki color on. Actually, I think it's called iced mocha. I really like that name because I like iced coffee. But I did let the blues dry before I put the brown on. I didn't want to make mud, and I just wanted to add a little bit of that brownish color in a few spots on my abstract type background. So I'm really having fun with these pops of color. I really enjoy experimenting with them and making some unique and different type backgrounds. Different from what I usually do for cards, but I really like it. When they dry, these colors dry with sort of a shine to them, which looks really great. And they dry kind of hard, so they will resist if you put things over them. And I'm going to go ahead and use some metallic gold watercolors. I'm going to splatter those on. So it's not going to mix with the other colors. It's not going to soak into those pops of color. It's going to kind of just sit on top. And it actually looks really cool when you let it dry. So I'm just adding some splatters to this background here. That first background that I did, I'm going to be adding a little bit more gold watercolor and kind of brushing it on a little bit more. And I love the addition of some sparkly gold to my backgrounds. I just think it makes it kind of pop a little bit. So after I had that splattered on, I'm going to set it off to the side and bring on my other background here that has been sitting and drying for quite a while. And I'm going to try to just brush this on right over the pops of color. And like I said, they dry sort of glossy and they do kind of resist that liquid. But as the watercolor dries, it's going to leave that gold behind and it's really going to shine and really show up on that blue color. And I think it just looks fantastic. I love the finished card. So I'm having fun with these pops of color, guys. I'm just having fun experimenting with them, all the things that you can do, all the ways that you can layer them together. I really like the fact that you can let them dry and put other colors on top of them. I love that if you want to stencil with them, you can stencil, let them dry, and then come back with another layer of stencil. Scrapbook.com has so many layered stencils that are really fun, and they work great with pops of color. So lots of great things that you can do. Now, after I got some of this gold watercolor brushed on, I'm going to add some splatters because you always need splatters. I think it just makes it really fun, adds some, texture here and there, some interest. And then after I got that all done, I'm just going to let them dry. I did take these backgrounds and cut them down to a little bit smaller than my A2 size card base, just so I had a little bit of a border around them when I put them on my card base. I chose a craft card base to put them on. I really like sort of the muted nature tones of all of these colors, and I think it went well with the craft. So I'm going to stamp a sentiment on here, and I typically recommend stamping before you put it onto a card base, but I sometimes skip my steps and I have to go back and fix them later. So I'm stamping on Happy Father's Day. I'm using a stamp set from scrapbook.com. This is their Celebrate Expressions, I believe, and it's all kinds of sentiments that you can mix and match for any kind of occasion. So these are Father's Day cards. I thought the colors were a little bit more masculine, so I'm going to stamp on the simple Happy Father's Day, and I love how that card turned out. Super simple, but really fun. All right, so for this next one, this other background that I did, I took the nested dies from scrapbook.com, cut out 3 of those hexagons, and stamped the sentiment on top of them. I'm going to add them on foam adhesive, so I've got these little squares of foam adhesive, just going to pop them on the back of those hexagons, and then pop them onto my card base. And I like how the sentiments turned out. I think it's kind of fun and unique to have them on a hexagon die cut here. But it's actually really simple, and I wanted to keep it simple so that the background can kind of stand out. So if you are enjoying this video, if you are getting inspired by some of these ideas, make sure you like this video, tap that thumbs up, leave a comment if you have any questions down below, check out that description box, tap the bell for notifications if you haven't already so you never miss another video, and if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe. Just do all the things. Otherwise, that kind of finishes my cards for today. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you later. Bye!